Real talk, the metaphor messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, coming at you from Germany. Check it out, man. It's Wrestlemania week, as we all know, and we're going to continue on our trend of Wrestlemania top 3 videos. That's right, we've been doing them. We're going to continue to do them. And today, what are we going to do? I'm just kidding. Did I shock you? Did I? No? Yes? Maybe? I don't know. But WrestleMania has a tendency to have some moments that gets the blood pumping. That heart just beating and racing shocks you. So we're going to do top 3 shocking moments in WrestleMania history. Now, for a lot of people, this is an easy list. It's an easy number 1 for a lot of people, but I have a different way of looking at things. I think shocks should be a little bit more genuine. So let's get it out of the way with the honorable mention, because we know what everybody thinks the number 1 is going to be. This moment right here. The Undertaker's streak being broken by Brock Lesnar quite simply isn't the most shocking thing to ever happen in WrestleMania for a lot of reasons. One, it didn't shock me personally. I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, prove it, fat man." Well, if you were following me back at the time, you would have known that I actually did call this, and I was not surprised by it. It seemed at the time Undertaker was running out of gas. It seemed like his matches were not at that same level that it once was. I don't know. There was just something that wasn't sitting right with me. And the fact that Brock Lesnar was being built the way he was, nothing about this shocked me. The best part of the shock was this guy's face. This guy's face. So for me, not all that shocking, not all that crazy, but certainly a great moment. There's no question about that. So it is an honorable mention. It's on the outside because so many people feel that that is the most shocking moment in WrestleMania history. I think another reason why it isn't for me personally is because the streak never really meant that much to me. I didn't really care about the streak. A lot of The Undertaker's matches, especially early on, weren't all that special, weren't all that memorable, weren't all that magical. It's difficult. It's difficult with The Undertaker for me because it didn't captivate me the same way it captivated so many people for a long time. I was into a different type of wrestler, so it didn't blow my mind when the streak lost. But I digress. There's the honorable mention. Let's get in to the actual top 3, and we're going to start with, shockingly, number 3. And look, I think it's funny, or some of you will find it ironic, that I'm going to start this list with something that I think is kind of polarizing as far as how shocking it was. I'm going to start with a moment that was actually shocking to me, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. But for a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, that's not all that surprising at all." It's a modern event. In fact, just happened a little while ago, a couple years back. But for me, I think as time goes on, people are going to really appreciate the Seth Rollins cash-in. I mean, this was a really, really shocking event for me. This was at WrestleMania 31. A lot of people were not really looking at Seth Rollins in a very serious manner. Yeah, he had the Money in the Bank, but remember, earlier in this very show, the opening match, I believe, or second match maybe, I can't remember, he lost to Randy Orton in spectacular fashion. So with all of the emphasis that was being put on Roman Reigns at the time as potentially a coronation event and the beast that was Brock Lesnar and all of these things, the last thing in my mind that I was really counting on was Seth Rollins to get involved, especially in a match that I think people are not giving enough credit to as a good match. It was a really solid affair between Roman and Brock. And Seth came out and turned that into a whole nother event. It was the first time it had ever been cashed in like that, Money in the Bank, that is. It was just an incredible moment. And I think as time goes on, the bigger star that Seth Rollins becomes, I think this is going to be more regarded as a amazing moment. It really is for me. It is the number 3 most shocking moment in WrestleMania history. And I know I'm going to catch some flack over that, but I don't care. I love this moment. It did actually surprise me. Maybe it shouldn't have, but it did. Let's go to number 2 and see if this one shocks you more. All right, number 2, maybe another moment that doesn't blow your socks off as far as, my heart, it does stop. But for me, as a kid, I really bought into heels being heels, and especially when a heel would be so far gone that there didn't seem to be redemption. Macho Man Randy Savage was that type of heel to me. He was beyond saving. There was no saving Macho Man in my eyes. There was no coming back from Macho Man in my eyes. However, at WrestleMania 7, I was proven wrong, because as he had a retirement match with the Ultimate Warrior, everything seemed to be going into a situation where this was either going to be a new launching pad for the Macho Man, or it was going to be simply the end of his career. But it didn't matter how it was going to be going. He was going to be going out or going forward as a heel. Elizabeth had been involved. However, at the end of that match, when Scary Sherry, Sensational Sherry, Sherry Martel, starts beating the ever-loving crap out of the Macho Man, the last thing that I thought we were going to see, and it still surprises me to this day, as I love this moment so much, is Miss Elizabeth not only running through the crowd, jumping over the barrier, getting her hands dirty, which Elizabeth didn't do a lot at the time, getting her hands dirty, getting Sherry out of there, and then having the emotional reconciliation with Macho Man in the middle of the ring. It was redemption of the Macho Man. It was so good. And it really did set up everything that would be Macho's career after that moment. It sets up everything. It puts everything into place from that moment on. This reconciliation, the things that would happen afterwards, the wedding, all of these things would feed in to a further development in Macho's character. It was so good. It was so good, so well done, so much fun. And I love this moment. Seeing them reconcile was truly a shocking moment for me, because I thought Macho Man was too far gone to ever be redeemed. So that's my number 2 moment. Now, my number 1, I think, is going to kind of be out of nowhere for a lot of people, because this isn't like the other 2 moments, not even a little bit. This one truly is just a moment that I don't think anybody ever saw coming. So without further ado, let's get in to number 1. Now, I think with 3 and 2, it was okay that they're kind of subjective. But if this list is going to really burst through walls as far as shocking moments, it's really got to be a moment that nobody saw coming. And I feel that I have picked one. For me, to see a guy that you loved as a kid, a guy that you thought and were told that everybody knew was physically unable to ever do anything in the confines of a wrestling ring ever again, and to see that man not only get involved in a match, but pull off arguably his most iconic move on a guy that you would never expect him to do it on, it just sent tingles through my entire body. And every time I watch this, it makes me feel that way over and over again. Arn Anderson was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. He was amazing. He was amazing. Everything he did, he just exuded man. He was quiet, but then he got crazy when he needed to. He was not the man to mess with. He was the enforcer. Truly, truly. Maybe one of the greatest side characters in the history of wrestling. And his career was snuffed out. His neck and spine and nerve damage, all of it was so bad that he was never going to be able to do anything ever in wrestling again. When Ric Flair came over back to WWE and had a whole bunch of matches, we would see Arn Anderson in passing, but never really doing anything physical. Fast forward to WrestleMania 18, in Ric Flair's underrated street fight match with The Undertaker. This is one of Undertaker's best WrestleMania matches, and it never gets talked about. Never. My God, is this match underrated. Great fight. So many people get involved, and you thought they would just be for fodder, or maybe even a turn type situation. But Arn Anderson pulling off his AA spine buster, the most iconic spine buster of all time. The spine buster that Triple H patterned his spine buster off of. He hits it so perfectly, so well timed, so majestically on The Undertaker. I can't watch this without coming out of my seat. Even to this day, I watched this, I'm not even kidding, 15 minutes before I started this show. And I was like, that is number one. That is number one. Because nobody thought Arn Anderson would ever wrestle again. Wrestle, do anything. Not only wrestle, just do anything. Get in the ring, roll into a ring is dangerous for Arn Anderson. And he did a spine buster on The Undertaker at WrestleMania in a timed spot. You know how hard that is? Especially for a guy who has not worked in a wrestling ring and as long as Arn had at that point. It was a perfectly timed spot. And it is number one to me. There is nothing more shocking I've ever seen at WrestleMania. Nothing that shocks me more than this moment. Maybe it's because I am such an Arn Anderson mark. I don't care. But to me, this gives you everything that you need out of a truly shocking moment. So that's my list, kids. That's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I want to hear from yours. I want to know what is shocking about WrestleMania to you. What did I miss? What did I get right? Tell me. Let me know in the comment section. Hit me up on the Twitters at DeadOnDaveV. I want to hear from you guys. I want to know what you think. Let me know. I needs to know. Tell me, baby girl, because I needs to know. Love me these moments, and I hope you did too. We're going to continue on doing these videos throughout the rest of the week. Hopefully you guys stick around, watch them all, subscribe to the channel, like this video, all of that good stuff, okay? Watch wrestling this week. If you're getting back into the wrestling world, this is your week. Get back into it because this is the one where all of those memories start floating around again. Hopefully, you'll share some of those with me. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. We'll see you next time. And peace.